favorite dad stories. I'm sure you got one.
Ooh. Okay. Raph, you want to go?
Just pick one, like,
Yeah.
I mean, your
There's
father.
I'm
just
still-
gotta-
I'm
it doesn't
still
matter
think-
how
I'm
old
still
you are.
thinking of mine.
When he didn't pull out of mom. Yes, that's my favorite dad story. Thank you, Dad.
This portion is brought to you by Trust.
Well, I'll go ahead and start. Is that okay?
Yeah, please.
So many, of course. I mean, we all love the fact that our dad raised us and brought us to be the gentlemen that we are today. But one in particular that I can think of that just stands out is when I moved here to this country to live full time. I had everything packed in my balikbayan boxes, and it was a one-way trip. And October '99 was the day, and I was gonna navigate living in Manila, which I've never done before. Have visited Manila as a visitor, but never lived in Manila. I was a province boy. My parents would always take us to Dagupan, Pangasinan, and we'd hang out with the
damn.
farm animals. And so the big bad city of Manila in '99 was a megalopolis. It still is. And I was going to navigate it by myself and try to find a job in this industry of ours. And
Kind of when we met.
yeah, absolutely. Yes, sir. And my dad volunteered and said, I'll stay with you and just kind of help you guide your way around Manila because he went to college here. And he said, yeah, I'll just hang out with you. And that's what he did. He literally moved here with me, and we hung out together. And that was, number one, the closest we've ever been in a long time. We got to bond, and he got to show me Manila that he's so proud of, and taught me how to ride a tricycle, and then a jeepney, and then an FX, and then a bus, and
Nice.
and all the vehicles, and just really, taught me how to shop in a
Surplus.
what's
Ukay.
yeah, ukay, but for vegetables and meats and
Gulay.
Palengke?
palengke. Thank you. Yes, he
The
said.
ukay and the gulay.
Yeah.
Gulay.
That's old gulay. Basically. Yeah, reused gulay is ukay gulay. Okay, anyway, sorry. Dad joke number 2. Fail. So I'll just always love and appreciate him for just taking time out of his life and helping his son out. And
Awesome. And
Yeah.
your brothers were where? I mean, like, he had to leave them, I guess.
yeah, well, everyone was in the States.
So he left them all. It's like,
Yeah, I left them all. And
He's special. Rovilson.
yeah.
Sorry, guys. Yeah. I got another person. Just, he needs more than you do. No, just kidding.
That is
Wait,
correct.
No
how long did he
favorites
spend?
here.
How long did he spend with you?
I would say about 6 months. Yeah.
So you got an apartment together? Or
Yeah.
a condo?
We got a house together, two-bedroom house in Cainta.
And now, like when he's seen your success, right? From '99, then Amazing Race, and how did he react to that? Because he was there for that pipeline dream. He was there for
Yes.
the birth of that dream.
Yes.
And I met Rovilson at the same time. At that time when he was still hustling, and we were both hustling exactly the same spot. We were extras in the commercial, and figuring it out. And that was about '99.
Yeah. My dad probably was with me at the time when I met you. Yeah, for sure, absolutely. So, that's just that one thing that just comes to mind automatically.
I think there's great lessons there. It's
Yeah.
just it's showing up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because apparently, from what I gather, there's nothing I don't think Dad taught him that you couldn't have figured out yourself.
Yep.
Meaning, like,
Oh, yeah.
if you were left alone, you would have figured out the palenque. You would have figured out.
Right.
But
Yeah.
he was there. He showed up.
Yeah.
That's it. That's I think what they say. 90% of it is just
Showing up, yeah.
Okay, favorite dad story.
My dad's dad passed away early, right? He passed away like in his 40s. My dad was, I think, 17 or something. So he really had to grow up like on his own. Like, he didn't have what I have, which is a dad he's just there. I love it. I love that we've dedicated Sunday lunches to just, it could be a time for, and sometimes I wish it were, like just time for me to like sit down, relax, like watch UFC or whatever. But I also realized that, my dad's 76, and whatever time, he's cancer survivor, whatever time he has, it's not, I'm betting it's not a lot, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I want him to know that I appreciate him. You know what I mean? I appreciate every second. even when it gets testy, even when it gets like, I wish, I wish I didn't have to call, or I wish, you don't have to be so, all of these things that I clearly sometimes blow out of proportion in my head. But I really do appreciate just having him around, because he has modeled for me. He is my frame of reference, right? And it's an awesome frame of reference, because, growing up, and I would go visit like my friends' houses and whatever. And, and that's where you realize, oh no, not all families pala are the same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, hindi pala sila gano'n, hindi pala nagtatrabaho,
Yeah.
lakas uminom ng tatay mo, alam
Yeah.
mo, parang gano'n, diba?
That's where the whole my dad can beat up your dad started.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. So, yung parang, which made me like really appreciate like my dad and his presence in my life. My mom's not around anymore, but my dad's there, and he's been such a great lolo. And I think he's really enjoying
Yes,
that.
I'm sure he is.
So gratifying. So yun yung parang, pare, dad, like have at it. Like go ahead. Like
Knock yourself out.
knock yourself
Yeah.
out, please.
I love that. It's not a standout moment per se, because it's a consistency that you put them.
Absolutely, yes. That's the one.
And
That's the
that
one.
makes
That's
a
the one.
lot of
That's the
sense,
one.
because sometimes we're always obsessed about how we
The
are
moment.
in the moment. Yeah.
Yep.
To create these moments when we realize consistency is actually the thing that's missing
Right.
the most.
Right.
Jimmy, what is your favorite?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Stories, my
I've
goodness.
got several, but for context, my dad left when I was 8, so we spent 20 years with 0 contact. So
Wow.
I didn't, yeah. So there was I was raised by a single mom, and we were 3 boys, and we didn't know where he was. Well, it's not like he hid or anything. We knew he was in England, and
Sure.
but that was it. That was all we had, and. So it was a pretty nasty divorce, and then we moved to Australia, and he moved there to England, and so that was it. That was, as far as I was concerned, was where our relationship was always going to be.
Right.
Then when I had my kids, so it was 2004, and I think I had my daughter. I remember thinking, it changes you, right? Being a father completely changes, because now. The lens, you change your lens.
Right.
I believe every kid goes through the same thing. You go from idolizing your father to demonizing your father, and then eventually we humanize our father.
Yes.
And that's the
Oh,
three
that's
stages.
beautiful,
It is
man.
beautiful.
That's
My
so
hairs are
beautiful.
standing. So I was in the demonization stage.
Okay.
Until I went through life myself, and I
Yeah.
started seeing, I considered myself I considered responsible, dedicated, and I would be everything my father wasn't.
Right.
But it's not through my own experience. It was what I was told my father was. So
Right.
I was dedicating my life to be not him.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm a better person because, blah, 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 blah.
Sure.
I didn't leave and all that.
Sure.
Then I separated from my wife in the year 2000.
Right.
And I remember thinking, I never saw that coming. I never saw that coming. I was like, when I walked down that aisle, that's the one forever for
Yeah.
me. And it happened. And I realized, holy crap, it does happen. And I consider myself a good person. If it happened to me, where was my dad?
Right.
What was he going through at the
Oh,
time? So this is
wow.
just background context, and that's humanized him for me, because I was, like we discussed before, holy crap, I didn't see it as that, but now as a parent, I made these similar mistakes, and I could be one decision away from being exactly in the same path he is.
Right.
But we got back together, and we tried to make it work. So that saved us. But one decision, and I'm down. Does that make me a bad person?
Yeah.
Does that make me...
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But society and the optics would frame me as that.
Sure.
So, okay, that's the premise. So then it got me thinking, life's too short. My brother also said to me, you're probably the only one in the family that can break this curse, because it is a curse. Because hate begets hate, and then it just becomes a spiral, and then that becomes your story, and then you
Right.
cling to that story,
Right.
and that becomes your identity, and then
yeah.
it becomes a medal, a badge you wear.
Oh gosh.
So yeah, it really can spiral out of control. So how many songs have been written about this, right? And movies. So I reached out to my dad, and I reached out to him out of the blue, and I called him up and said, because like I say, it wasn't that hard to find, because we had relatives here that, basically he married one of my mom, one of their group. Okay. So very easy to connect. So I picked up the phone, I called him up, but he had not heard my voice in 20 years.
Wow.
Right? He had not. And I went,
Did you have any idea who you were?
well, that's why. He picked up the phone in his house and I said, Dad. And he just went quiet.
Oh, jeez.
And James? And I was like, well, he had a 1 in 3 chance. 33%.
Yeah, that's 33%.
Folly market, I would have taken those odds. But he called it, right? Okay, so it was
Called
me.
it.
So I'll save that other story for another time because that is a story about how we met. It's a very powerful story.